Gondola, far and away the most popular attraction at the World's Fair, has a whole new future ahead of it once the fair closes, and the new president, too.
James Bunch, formerly with a ski lift company in Colorado, and he is now running the gondola and will be during its period after the fair. And my first question to you is, what happens to the gondola after the fair, Mr. Bunch?
Well, we'll be closed for a period right after the fair. Of course, we're going to close down immediately with the fair. We're going to do some modifications to the system, some general renovation, change a few things. And then we'll be reopening immediately as soon as we can as a transit system.
Getting set for that during the 5 weeks or so they'll be closed, a new cable will be installed to replace the one now in use. Not for safety reasons, as some have reported, but for comfort, to get one with a geometrically perfect round shape instead of the slightly elliptical one now in use. Wooden ramps will be replaced with concrete ones to meet the transit system's fire codes, and facilities for commuter transit comfort will also be installed. A parking lot will be built on the West Bank where you can park your car for $25 a month. And for another $25, you buy your commuter ticket, which allows you to ride the gondola to and from work.
So for $50, you park your car and ride the gondola for 1 full month back and forth.
Yes, sir. And of course, then, as an introductory offer, we're going to have free coffee and newspapers. Provide the commuters a commuter's dream over there: coffee, newspapers, donuts, and it will have a single card for the park and ride arrangement. Yes, sir.
It'll operate from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And if you don't want to use your car, you can ride the Algiers bus on the West Bank, take the gondola, then use your transfer to ride the CBD or Vieux Carré shuttle on the other side. It'll meet the gondola at the Convention Center base in New Orleans and run every 5 to 8 minutes during rush hour. And if you like, you can even thumb your nose at that elevated parking lot they call the bridge as you glide by on the gondola.
So in the space of time it's taken us to discuss all of this, we have crossed the Mississippi River and we're descending now toward the gondola terminal on the New Orleans side of the river.
Yes, sir. We're well on our way to Julia Street. We should be there any moment now.
Okay, thank you very much. We've been talking up here on the gondola with Jim Bunch, the new president of the Gondola Corporation, well on our way back toward New Orleans aboard Skyline. Thanks for talking with us. This is Alec Gifford for TV6 at the Fair.
You know, all of the fun of the World's Fair isn't right at the fair. Did you realize that you could take a scenic sightseeing adventure right from the gondola? Mississippi Aerial River Transit, better known as M.A.R.T, is a unique gondola system which spans the Mississippi River for 3,600 feet. Each support tower stands 360 feet high, offering a spectacular view of the entire city, the Mississippi River, and the world's fairgrounds. It's an unforgettable ride. And there's more fun awaiting you on the west bank of the river. Stop off at the M.A.R.T West Gondola Landing and let your whole family enjoy the World's Fair West Bank style. Your children will love the rides, from boats to elephants. And the food, drink, and entertainment abounds in this festive circus atmosphere. You can relax while your children play in a delightful and secure area. When it's time to head back to the fair, you'll enjoy an exciting view of the New Orleans skyline. And if you return at 10:30, you'll catch the spectacular nightly fireworks display over the river.
To ride or not to ride? That is the question some New Orleans residents are still asking themselves about the gondola or M.A.R.T system spanning 2,200 feet across the Mississippi River at the Louisiana World Exposition. Designed by Poma, a French company and largest manufacturers of aerial transit systems in the world, the gondola system transports 3,600 riders an hour across the river.
Originally, and some years ago, Blaine Kern, the famous Mardi Gras float builder, had the inspiration for the system, and summer of '83, the spring and summer of '83, he decided that it was time to bring this to its fruition, and contacted the person he thought would be the logical developer for this type of project, August Perez III, who's a prominent local architect, and really, in effect, turned it over to him. And the project was then taken on by Mr. Perez. I'd also like to add that there are 33 people here in the New Orleans area who believed in this project and believed that it was viable and had the foresight and the courage to invest a great deal of money. And credit should also be given to the Banque de l'Union Européenne, a French bank which has an office in New York, and here in New Orleans, which is the main participant bank, for loaning the balance of the funds to provide the capital necessary to build and operate the system.
The New Orleans enthusiasts lined Lake Pontchartrain to get a look at the speedboat competition. In the Superboat division, 3 crews started, with the Popeyes crew the last across the starting line. They had their problems getting things going.
We had a problem getting on the plane initially because the engines were loading up. And so we really had a little difficulty getting on the plane to get started. And then when we started, it was not intended from that point on. That's when we started passing boats after that.
On the course that consisted of 3 rectangles, the Flapjack crew took the early lead. On lap 3, the Popeyes team had taken the front position, but they had some navigating problems. After completing 1 long lap of 35 miles, the Popeyes crew should have then gone 3 short laps. Instead, they went 4. That put them about 9 miles behind. From then on in, it was a catch-up game for Al Copeland and his Popeyes crew. With 8 laps remaining, they never caught the leader. With the fastest boat in the field, they did make up some time, but not enough.
We had the home court. We won the race. We would have won the race, you know? It really is ridiculous, but it's all racing. You know?
In this year's edition of the Popeyes Offshore Grand Prix, the checkered flag went to the Flapjack crew. The winning captain was Howard Quam.
He is a drop faster than us, and he knows when to use it, and he used it about the right time, and then he made that error, unfortunately. But I thank him. I'm going to go over and pay off his navigator.
In New York, the 117th running of the boat.
Error in his restaurants was not as sharp in his Superboat today. The defending champion of the Popeyes offshore powerboat race would have won on Lake Pontchartrain, but a navigational error by his crew really cost him. The race started under ideal conditions this afternoon with a rather mild atmosphere, but Copeland and his boat kind of spiced things up a bit. They were in the lead, then the Popeyes boat mistakenly ran an extra 9-mile lap. They lost the lead at that point, later attempted to close the gap, but they could not, as another boat went into the lead. Flapjack, driven by Howard Quam of Chicago. There they are. They pulled ahead to win. Flapjack, a 38-foot catamaran powered by 2 700 horsepower engines, Mercury engines. As for Al Copeland, well, he handled the setback like a good sport.
He had a bad start, got from the back, came all the way up, took first place, took the lead. And I think we had the lead for about a lap and a half, and we miscounted the laps. It's as simple as that. And we thought when we turned off to come back to make the next lap, we thought it would be 3 laps. But it was actually 4, and so we made 1 more lap. See, if the race would have been a little longer, we'd have won.
Martina Navratilova and Chris Evert Lloyd, the longest rivalry since the advent of Open tennis, was center stage again. The two today was on the clay in Paris for the French Open title. Now the two faced each other 65 times. Today was a rematch of last year and more reminiscent of 10 years ago. Chris Evert Lloyd won then and now. In the third set, she was up 5 games to 3, but mentally tough Martina fought her way back to tie it at 5-all before Chrissy later pushed ahead with the crisp passing shots, and for Martina Navratilova, quite a few errors cost her, but Chrissy wins it, a record-tying 6th French Open title worth $138,000, and although Lloyd won today in their rivalry over the years, Martina holds the edge, 33 wins to Chris Evert Lloyd's 32. A golfer from the North Shore has the lead after 3 rounds of the Louisiana State Amateur Golf Tournament in Baton Rouge. Chip Sullivan from Covington shot a 68 today, the best round of the event so far. He's 1 shot ahead of Doug Farr of Monroe and 2 shots ahead of Tom Evans from Metairie. Now on the Pro Tour, leader George Burns here has a nice chip, but he was 2 over for the day. The Westchester Classic in New York, and he's at 8 under par.
Computers to work.
I'll raise you 20,000.
I seem to be able to do it.
And Bill Murray. Also, stupid hat tricks. Dropping stuff.